There's something about a Final Fantasy game, something that carries with it, I don't know, the weight of expectation. In recent years, many have felt that the series has been a little on the wane with the mixed reception that Final Fantasy XIII and its spin-off games has had, and the general feeling that Square Enix weren't delivering what the fans wanted. I'll be honest, what really caught me recently was the trailer for Final Fantasy XV, the latest game in the series, which looked exciting and a real change in the direction of the Final Fantasy games. And when they said the first wee taste of this game would be a demo exclusively given out with copies of Final Fantasy Type 0, I decided that this would be an essential purchase.
The Dominion's fate is in your hands.
It'd be easy to ignore Type 0 and just talk about 15, but that'd be totally unfair for two reasons. One, being that this is a pretty good JRPG in its own right, and two, the demo hasn't gone live yet, so I've not played it. C'est la vie.
In a long time. Too long.
But it would be wrong, totally wrong, to ignore this game because it gives us enough variety and changes to the Final Fantasy formula to completely justify the purchase. Up front, it has to be mentioned that this was originally a PSP game released in Japan back in 2011, so much of the game's structure is informed by those limitations, with smaller game areas and less voice acting than you'd usually see in a more recent game. I don't want this to sound too limiting because in many other aspects, the game more than makes up for it. The story itself feels grand in scale, with a war breaking out between neighbouring countries, and the game establishes a level of excitement right from the off, giving you one of the main characters, Ace, to play with along with two companions, and you can swap between them at any time. After watching the opening scenes, which look great by the way, you're fighting your way through invaders using a mixture of physical and magical attacks, and it feels fast and pretty accessible. This is an action RPG, more in line with something like Kingdom Hearts, or one of the Tales games, rather than the classic turn-based combat. It doesn't take too long to get familiar with what you're doing, although I will say that some elements of the game aren't really as well explained, like the levelling system, and I'll be honest, the levelling does let the game down just a little, as it is a bit boring and a bit cumbersome, which is a shame, but don't let that distract you from what's good about the game. In time-honoured JRPG tradition, the boys in the class are some of the smoothest and prettiest boys you'll see in a game this year. This isn't a criticism, it's a massive plus. I love pretty boys. Being able to swap between the characters on the fly gives the game a nice, quick dynamic, and that's what I personally love in RPGs. One of my favourite RPG series, as you'll probably know, are the Tales games, which have quick and fun battles, and that's definitely a feeling I get here. The game also has some pretty epic fights, with an early highlight being able to go Odin and riding his massive horse around an arena, smashing the living god out of a robotic scorpion thing. Everything is well divided, and the downtime where you explore the academy and chat to teammates is nicely put together and gives you more of a reason to keep battling away. There are extra, additional missions that you can play where you guide much larger troops around the world map, taking different cities, liberating cities, and gives you a proper variety that the Final Fantasy games have lacked up to now. Honestly, I say that this game is great fun to play, especially when you realise there aren't many JRPGs available on the PS4 or Xbox One right now, and although it may have been a more natural fit, say, on the Vita, this is a fun game that will keep you going during the long wait for Final Fantasy XV. Set your expectations before playing and you'll have a great time. Even though this isn't a proper next-gen game, it's a worthy addition to the catalogue of both consoles.